Hello everybody. Today I will be taking a little bit of an interesting approach to Pokemon Red and Blue, and I will be beating the game with somebody that you may have probably, potentially, never beaten the game with, and their name happens to be Crinkles. Crinkles the Tangela. And as you could probably surmise based on that, what I've just said, and also the video that you clicked on, I will be doing a Tangela alternative main Pokemon Red and Blue speedrun. When I say I will be doing it, I mean I actually did it like a couple days ago, and now I'm talking about it today. And so, for those of you that don't know, alternative main speedruns are, speedruns you just kind of focus all your attention on one Pokemon. The current records use Nidoking, and, so that's the main. And alternative is basically anybody but Nidoking. It's kind of like me voting in a Democratic primary, anybody but Joe Biden. That's kind of my perspective. Anyway, Tangela, kind of a Pokemon that, at least for me, I kind of put into a category along with, like, Magmar, Electabuzz. I don't know, does anyone have that kind of thought? I always felt like Magmar and Electabuzz and Tangela were like, three peas in a pod. Throw Jinx in there, but the thing with Jinx is you can't really get Jinx in Gen 1, at least not in the wild. And so, I always kind of put Jinx in like a separate category for that. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. But Tangela is a Pokemon I've always had a fascination with, but I've never really used in any kind of, major way. And so I thought I would use it. And the thing about the alternative main rule set is you need to get your main Pokemon with the minimum number of badges. And the thing is, you need to have Surf to get Tangela. And so, once you get Surf, you can either catch a Tangela or you can trade for one in Cinnabar Island. Both with the same number of badges required. So I opted to get Crinkles, the traded Tangela, because I could grab a Wenonat right before Koga, and then I was thinking maybe level that bitch up a little bit, because the trades in this game take after your level. But then I was like, whatever, why even bother swap training? I'm going to get Tangela right away, so whatever. Now, I did make a couple of massive errors in this run. There's really not much to talk about, really, for the first part. I kind of been really trying to spruce up the early game. I pretty much run with Wartortle, Squirtle, for the most part. You could argue that maybe it's better to use Nidoking for this part of the game, from the point where you can get a Nidoking up until the next Pokemon. But I'm not, whatever, man. I'm not trying to fucking get a Squirtle and then get a Nidoran and then evolve that bitch and catch a Nidoran, which is fucking hell on earth as it is. I'm not into that shit. I'm just gonna run with Squirtle, run with Wartortle, whatever, dude. Who cares? And, so, again, my routing is basically, you need to get, whoa, whoops. I was clicking something and it almost all fell apart. You need to, get Tangela after Koga. But you need to beat Koga without beating Lieutenant Surge, and you basically want to, run through the first part of the game, Misty, Cut, then you want to go back up to Cerulean, then you want to go through Rock Tunnel, then you want to do the Rocket Hideout, then you got to get the Poke Flute, then you got to wake up the Snorlax, then you immediately go to the Safari Zone, or Koga, whatever, you can do both. And then you immediately go to Cinnabar, and that's when you get Tangela, and that's really when the run starts. And so, with these runs, this is my 9th run at this point. I'm still kind of learning the game here, and doing all these kind of wacky different routes and stuff is kind of really helping me, solidify the Kanto regional map in my brain. And so, I'm really trying to spruce up this early game because, I'm using Wartortle pretty much every time now. And, there's really not much to comment on. This is just my mediocre speedrun. Here I'm trying to capture some Pokemon to use HMs with. And, you gotta use HMs some way. And, again, this run it's not going to be too much, to talk about until we get Tangela, and when we get Tangela, it's going to be one hell of a show, because, and just to give a little bit of, preamble here, Tangela's moves, Tangela actually has some really good moves available. Not all of them are great, but I was undergoing a little bit of a crisis during this run about which moves to use. So you can see I grabbed Body Slam and the SSN here. The moves, you know, Tangela can learn Growth. Tangela can learn Double Team. Tangela, you know, those are really good moves. For those of you that don't know, stuff like Growth is really good because not only does it boost your special, but it does also boost every other stat in your roster because the badge boosting mechanic, it's all fucked up in this game. And so as a result, every time your stats are changed, you get a couple, I think it's like 10%, something like that, somewhere in that region. I'm not an expert. I just play the game for Christ's sake. And, the thing is, Double Team also does that, but the difference between Double Team and Growth is that Double Team is really good at defense and then a slight boost on offense, whereas Growth is pretty much a massive boost on offense, but a very, very, very small boost on defense. So I was like going through my internal crisis. To be honest with you, like Double Team is really cheap. It's extremely cheap, right? When I say cheap, I mean like it's literally free. It's right on the pathway in the Safari Zone. It takes like it takes like more time to not pick it up instead of right. It's like right on the path, so it's cheap in that regard. But it's also cheap in the sense that it kind of breaks the game and does remove a lot of challenge. But also, you know what? I'm doing a speed run. Yeah, this is a fucking speed run. So you know what? Fuck it. I'll grab some Double Team. Not every Pokemon's going to be able to learn Double Team, so maybe I'll run a Pokemon that can't learn Double Team at some point. But again, Growth is way better for the speedrun because it gives you that faster offense, and in a lucky luck world, the offense is better than defense because you'll just clear things faster. And so again, I was going through a crisis. What should I use, Double Team or Growth? I'm not sure. And then the other thing is, you know, you got Body Slam, Solar Beam, and Mega Drain. Those are the 3 offensive moves that I had in my mind. So those are 5 moves total that I want. I would really love all 5, but you really you just can't deal with all 5. So I had to pick one for the chopping block, and we'll see that whole situation later on here. But again, it was a crisis. I was going through a little bit of a crisis. I didn't really know. And I know that, you know, there is a clear correct answer. Double Team is obviously not as good as Growth. But the thing about Tangela is Tangela, and you may not know this, Tangela kind of sucks. Like, it has really fucking terrible stats in a lot of ways. And so you can very easily just get destroyed, especially by an opponent like Lorelei, you know, with all the ice beams and the aurora beams, all that fucking horse shit. Like, so Tangela can very easily just get pwned. So that's why, like, you know, the thing about Double Team is it kind of boosts you up a little bit because of the badge boosting stuff. But really, it also just kind of sucks, right? But it's that defense of, like, knowing you can pretty much evade almost everything that really kind of sets my heart at ease. So, you know, again, I'm still a novice here. I am not quite a Pokemon master as of this moment in time. Obviously, I aspire to be. Don't we all aspire to be the Pokemon masters of our generation? Anyway, there's Snorlax. You can run away from Snorlax. Somehow, I never do. I kind of just always... I'm trying to go get a wild Venonat here. But yeah, you can run away from a Snorlax. Usually I like fighting it because it is a little bit of EXP, but really, you know, you probably should just run away from that bitch. And again, in Cinnabar, there's a bunch of trades you can do, but the one I'm going to be doing is a Venonat for Crinkles! Crinkles, the Tangela. And you know what? Crinkles is honestly an awesome name. I've never run with Crinkles before. I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever traded for Crinkles. Because you can catch a Tangela, right? So any Pokemon that you can catch, like, I always figured, why bother trading for? Like, I know, you know, you get the boosted experience thing. But, like, I've never really used Tangela too much, so I never really was in a position where I wanted the boosted experience, right? So this is, like, one of the things that I really enjoy about doing this series, and even though I'm only 9 runs in, is that it's really kind of giving me that complete understanding of this game. A game that I played to death as a kid. And, you know, there's always blind spots, you know. When I was a kid, I never thought, like, yeah, I'm just going to beat the game with every Pokemon, you know. I never really thought about doing that as a kid. So I was like, all right, shit, yeah, let's do Tangela. That's a Pokemon I've always had this weird fascination with, just from an aesthetic purpose. It just looks awesome. Like, it's got those, like, little shoe things going on, too. It's just, like, a really corny-ass Pokemon. I really love the aesthetic. Also, I got fucking pwned on Koga. But somehow the self-destruct and all that kind of stuff, it worked out because I had extra Pokemon, so whatever. So now here we get to the first major fuckface part of the run here. I totally fucking thought you could go from the eastern portion of Seafoam to the western without having to go all the way around. I don't have Fly right now, so factor that in. I went to Seafoam. Part of me still thinks you can do it, okay? I didn't... Either it's not possible or I didn't do it properly, and I just wasted like 15 minutes there, and then I decided I'm just going to go all the way around back through Palette, and that's eventually what I did. And here's Crinkles, my Tangela. So now this is when the run really kind of starts. So I go to the Pokemon Mansion because I need to use the escape rope to warp all the way back to where I was, and I use that at the end of the Pokemon Mansion. So I figured go to the Pokemon Mansion, grab Solar Beam, that's going to be really important, grab the rare candy, grab the key, and then warp all the way back to Vermilion. And, so now we have Crinkles, and Crinkles is going to make short work with Lieutenant Surge. I still don't really know how to do that trash can puzzle. I'll be honest with you. I got no fucking idea. I got to look up a map. I'm sure there's a map. You know, I looked up a map for almost everything else in this goddamn game at some point, so I might as well look up a map for that. But anyway, Crinkles at this point, level 28. Not too bad, not too good. The Solar Beam is pretty useful, but really I'm kind of, like, I'm struggling against Lieutenant Surge. And so the thing about Tangela is Tangela's default moveset kind of sucks. You got Bind, which is really good. It's like a Wrap type situation. That's really good. You got Constrict, which just fucking sucks. It kind of sounds like it would be like a Bind or a Wrap type move, but it's not. It just sounds like it, and it also just kind of sucks. But also, I'm only level 28, 29-ish, and again, just not like doing so well against Erica. Or not even against Erica, but against one of Erica's friends in the gym here. And so I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, shit, did I bite off more than I could chew with this battle? Now I'm just kind of in a bind war. It's bind versus Wrap, and I'm poisoned. This is a total nightmare. I throw in Gross the Paris. The whole bug thing in the Pokemon icon thing. Ugh, it's just gross. I hate bugs. I hate Paris. Fuck Paris. I'm sorry. Just fuck that goddamn motherfucker. Now it's Tangela versus Tangela. Crinkles versus... Just kidding. I actually threw in Blastoise there because I'm a little bit of a bitch. The alt main rules on speedrun.com, which, you know, I'm not doing all those rules, but that's my base point. Says that you should have your main Pokemon participate in every fight. What that means is they need to at least be out there, either die to the Pokemon or at least do one battle damage or some shit like that. So, kind of did that. I'm using my Blastoise to carry me a little bit. Just a little bit, but again, that's not going to last forever. So then we go into the Sylph Corporation's main headquarters, the Singular Tower in Saffron City. And we're going to grab a bunch of fucking horse shit here. The thing is, Crinkles is like super underlevel. Again, this is always that awkward-ass part about the alt main speedruns, and that's what sets them apart from like stuff like Custom Starter, where you need to use like a Game Shark or Action Replay, one of those fucking things. Game Genie, you know, those existed too back then. Immediately getting pwned by the rival here. But you know, you could do that to hack in your guy, or you can use a ROM hack or something like that. The difference is that alt main, the speedrun is just done on a regular cartridge, no bullshit, so that's why I prefer that over the Custom Starter, you know, so, you know, but this is a downstream effect of that, is that you have these weird, awkward in-between zones, where, you know, your main Pokemon kind of sucks, and then Blastoise is just infinitely better, and honestly, like, even level 40, even if I never leveled up this bitch again, kind of Blastoise would be better than, like, even a level 60 Tangela. So it's kind of like, you know, you do have to put a little bit of, you know, your own self-constraints on there. A little bit, not too much. But anyway, you know, I guess I beat the rival. I mean, you know, I kind of needed to leave anyway to get some equipment. So, I mean, it didn't really feel like a total victory. But hey, I beat the rival with Crinkles. You know, you had a lot of help from Blastoise, but Crinkles And Crinkles is just chronically poisoned, man. Like, this is really unfortunate. But Giovanni, not too difficult. Crinkles has both Mega Drain from Erica and Solar Beam, so pretty good on that. Again, I've got Double Team on this guy, and I've got Body Slam. I'm really not sure. You know, again, like, what am I... The thing about Body Slam is there are Pokemon, like Sabrina's Pokemon, that you really just want to use physical moves against instead of special moves. And so you do want to have Body Slam. That's the thing, like, you know, should I remove Growth, or should I remove Body Slam for Growth? Because Growth wouldn't really even apply to Body Slam. I don't know, because then I'm kind of fucked against an Alakazam, right? So, and I barely made it out there with that Sabrina. That Alakazam really, you know, threw me for a loop. I went to the fighting dojo just to get a couple of extra, you know, just to get a level. The real gym, you know, you got to go to the real gym, pay your respect. Instead of that weird psychic girl that fucking manipulates the whole town into getting certified or whatever. Here I decided to open up a couple of these doors just because some of the trainers are a little bit longer. Whatever, man. This is a fire gym, so Crinkles is kind of, you know, Crinkles could do better than fighting Blaine's guys. So normally I fight those guys. But you'll notice that I did not answer the 1984 question at the start. Of course, I maintain this. Caterpie evolves into Metapod. Caterpie does not evolve into Butterfree. So in this game, if you say the correct answer against the first machine, it will ding you incorrect because George Orwell was motherfucking right, alright? 1984 is here, and its name is Pokemon Goddamn Red. Anyway, Arcanine. Arcanine has totally destroyed me to the point where I decided to just say fuck it and just win the game with Blastoise. Again, you know, Crinkles... hey, Crinkles trying their best, so now we're in the last gym. We're about to go get the Ert badge. And, you know, again, the thing about Giovanni is, you know, not too difficult. Especially, you know, I got Mega Drain, which is going to be really useful. Solar Beam, which is going to be really useful. And at this point, I'm thinking, all right, Crinkles is going to learn Growth at level 49. Okay, I did look that up, all right. And so I'm experiencing a crisis because I'm going to level up soon. What do I replace, you know, to get Growth? And I'm just going to give you a little bit of a mild spoiler, and by that I mean it's going to happen very soon, but I'm just going to start the sentence now. I ended up not learning Growth. I decided that only having, you know, the options were, okay, replace Double Team. Well, shit. Double Team, I'm kind of a little bitch. I kind of suck at this game. I do want Double Team, right? Like, I'm sorry, Crinkles is not a perfect Pokemon. I'm really, again, you saw me pause there. I was really struggling. I decided, you know what? No Growth on Crinkles. Crinkles is going to stay small, all right? And, you know, what else could I remove? Solar Beam or Mega Drain? Well, fuck, you know, Solar Beam has that, like, weird, you know, turn thing where it's like, you know, even though it still does more damage than 2 Mega Drain, so it is always better than Mega Drain pretty much at any time. But then I was like, well, both of these have really low power points, right? So it's like, fuck, you know, like, I don't want to run into a situation where I'm fucked on power points. Then Body Slam, I could get rid of Body Slam. But then I was like, well, shit, then what am I going to do against the high special guy? So I decided, you know what? Fuck Growth, even though Growth is clearly better. Growth is clearly the superior option here. I really should have learned Growth. I decided against it. I decided Body Slam, Solar Beam, Mega Drain, and Double Team is going to be my my run here. And at this point, I think I'm out of power points, and I'm just kind of waiting until I can use Struggle or something like this. I just kind of got fucked by the Venusaur. So I just totally, you know, but hey, okay, Struggle is actually not bad. To my understanding, Struggle is a typeless move. I might be wrong. It might just be like normal type in this game. I know the Gen 1. I'm still learning a lot of the Gen 1 isms. I got, you know, I haven't really played Pokemon too much since I was very young. You know, I've said this before, but I kind of noped out after Heart Gold, that era. And never played anything after that. And so, you know, I don't, like, I kind of get a little bit of stuff confused between what's in Fire Red and what's in Red and that kind of stuff. So, you know, bear with me. If anyone wants to correct me, feel free. So, the opening shot to the Elite Four, I'm immediately getting fucked by this Aurora beam. But this is where something like Mega Drain, and again, like replacing Mega Drain with Growth or whatever. Mega Drain, like, you don't think about it too much, but like the healing effect of Mega Drain for a Pokemon like Crinkles, which again just kind of sucks, like the healing effect really helps. It really helps. Like Solar Beam is great for doing a lot of damage up front, but Mega Drain is also really good when you know that the Pokemon is weak to you and you can just kind of get away with stuff. Right here, again, this is kind of why I was happy that I definitely ended up keeping Double Team. Because Double Team, I think, in my opinion, feel free if you disagree, but it saved me. There is no way I could beat Jinx without Double Team. It just would not have happened. Maybe I should have used, like, rare candies or something, but I don't know, man. It just wouldn't have. I don't even know if I have any left. And this Lapras, man, motherfuck. Again, Crinkles, not very good. Blastoise had to end up saving the day. Whatever, man. Hey, can you really say Crinkles is the winner here? I don't actually know, but that's a whole thing for a separate thing, alright? Going into Bruno. Crinkles, pretty good matchup against Bruno. It's actually, like, to be honest with you, like, even when I did my Hitmonchan run, I didn't have that many problems with Bruno. So I don't even know what I could have problems with Bruno with. Like, it feels like Bruno is just kind of a freebie, which I like. I actually... When it comes to game design, I really enjoy non-linear difficulty. Like, I like the idea that the final boss has to be the hardest thing or whatever. That's fine, I guess. But, you know, like, this whole concept of the Elite Four, the final X, you know, like, the final fights, you know, this is a big thing in, like, RPGs where you have X amount of fights in a row or something. I like where they're not linear, harder, 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 harder. I like the idea that Lorelei is kind of like a gate. You get past Lorelei, Bruno's kind of easy. Then Agatha is a little bit easy, a little bit difficult. It kind of depends on your situation. I use my rare candies here. Level 59. Now, I will say, Crinkles is doing really well when it comes to the levels. Because of that EXP boost, I never really had too many problems when it comes to leveling up. And, you know, the biggest problems were the fact that, again, Tangela just kind of sucks. And so, Agatha, you know, this fight is... You know, unless you've got something that can one-shot everything, this fight is going to be fucking annoying. Between Agatha switching Pokemon in and out and totally fucking you over and all that kind of stuff, Gengar, you can't use Body Slam against. That motherfucker's going to put you to sleep every 15 seconds. They're going to confuse you every 12 seconds. You know, Agatha is just kind of a fucked up fight. Now, I still kind of adamantly believe that Agatha is one of the easiest in the Elite Four. Easier than Lorelei, I think, in my opinion. But still, like, the thing is, Agatha could be a total fuckface or not too bad. And so, my situation here was basically, Mega Drain isn't really doing much. So I'm going to need to use Solar Beam. But the thing about Solar Beam is it requires that extra turn. And that extra turn is when this motherfucker bitch can put me to sleep, that kind of stuff. So I kind of like just, again, this is why I use Double Team. I know Growth would have been better. Growth would have been faster if I would have gotten lucky. But Double Team really, and 3%, look at this. No, I guess it's not percent, but 3 health points left. Holy shit, this was a tough fucking fight. And I will be honest with you, it doesn't get much easier for the rest of the run. I was really struggling. It's been a while since I've actually not done a first try Elite Four. But I was really worried here. I was like, shit. And I was kind of like thinking like, okay, I'm kind of low on items too. Like I don't have like, I don't have an infinite amount of potions here. Running low on PP, so I'm like, shit, I guess I'll use Elixir. It's either Elixir or I just take the loss. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. If I don't win, whatever, it'll make the video more funny, I guess. You know, sure, Tangela loses against the Elite Four, but you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. And so again, this is one fuck mother of a fight. It's just a war of attrition here. The Mega Drain is kind of helping me out. Me being paralyzed certainly doesn't help with much. But I'm just slowly sucking this motherfucker dry. You know, just a little critical hit there. That'll help. Oh, Super Potion, come on. One more, just Solar Beam that bitch. Okay. All right. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, I knew I won, you know, because I did this run like a couple days ago. But you know, just a little bit of acting class for you. I'm trying to become an actor. I'm trying to become somebody that acts. And so I act like I wanted to be doing these videos, and you know, the truth will set someone free. Anyway, Lance. Lance is honestly one of the easiest members of the Elite Four, and that's mostly because Gen 1 programming kind of sucks. But the thing about Tangela is that Tangela can, in a lot of ways, take advantage of some of that fucky wucky, and but also not in a lot of ways. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't exactly know how the AI move priority functions exactly. To my understanding, like, shouldn't they be using just agility, right? Like, I don't know. Isn't, like, Psychic, isn't Psychic good against Grass? Shouldn't that be taking priority? I don't really know. But all I know is that the Pokemon Lance uses for the most part, kind of suck. And as long as you can withstand anything, you can pretty much make it. Aerodactyl, you know, probably could have even gotten away with a Mega Drain there. But again, Lance, not too difficult. I was a little worried. And it did go a little poorly. Don't quite understand how the AI works. I'm going to be honest with you. But either way, understanding or not, this Dragonite was taking a while. But it was kind of, again, it's that war of attrition. Like, the Dragonite really wasn't doing much damage. They were missing with everything. They were just doing these, moves that basically buffed their statuses. And it was, you know, it took a while. That Hyper Beam hit, but it didn't really matter. And come on. Alright. Okay, so it's at this point that I'm thinking I'm confident, but I'm also not confident because I don't have that many items left. So the chance of me actually losing to the champion is actually quite high. Just because, you know, it's pretty much impossible with almost every Pokemon at this point. As long as you have enough items, you can pretty much brute force everything. But again, I was running low on items, so I kind of did have, like, a hard out. And so I was like, alright, you know what? I got paralyzed right away. This motherfucker, I used Body Slam against Pidgeot, and then they mirror move my Body Slam, use it against me, and then paralyze me. Not what I had in mind. That was certainly not on the list of things that I had, you know, in mind for the very beginning of the champion fight. And so I can't really, there's really not many ways for me to get rid of this paralysis. So unfortunately, I did have to kind of deal with this for the rest of the run. And I was nervous against this Alakazam. So I was like, shit, should I use Solar Beam? Is that going to help me out? Ended up doing a decent bit just because, again, Crinkles has a pretty good special stat in comparison to base attack, so it ended up doing pretty good. But like 56 health, that Tail Whip is actually good because of the badge boosting mechanic in this game. That's all fucked up. You get more badge boosts every time anything happens to your stats. Anytime they re-roll your stats to any degree. So getting that Tail Whip is pretty useful. When Gyarados Hyper Beamed me, I thought it was over. I was extremely nervous. I was very scared. Again, another thing about this game that's really fucky-wucky is that when you get a critical hit, the critical hit formula doesn't take into account stuff like stat boosts, so you don't really want a critical hit in a lot of instances. And so again, this is a war of attrition. The fact that I'm paralyzed, and which that means is by default, I'm not going to outspeed anything. Everything is going to be faster than me. I'm just scared. I'm kind of just like, fuck. And I don't have any more elixirs, and, you know, I do have a limited amount of power points, so I'm kind of just fucking scared. And then I leveled up there. And if you don't know this, leveling up resets your badge boosting stuff. So now I'm scared. I'm like, okay, maybe I should have caught the wild Tangela, because that wouldn't have happened if I had not gotten the EXP boost. And now this fucking Arcanine is just fucking setting me on fire. This is a bad deal. This is not good. And so I'm just kind of hoping that it kind of works out. I do have Blastoise. So, you know, I could bring in Blastoise, but, you know, that is kind of cheap. You know, hey, spamming items, not, you know, that's not the you know, whatever, man. Using Blastoise would be a bridge too far. So I do have a couple max potions left. Solar Beam eventually managed to do the trick. And now here we are. Grass, wee grass. Venusaur versus Crinkles. Solar Beam versus Solar Beam. Growth versus Double Team. And you know, they were basically spamming Growth, both in the, on any rival fight where this motherfucker could learn Growth. And, you know, again, Body Slam, pretty good, but, you know, PP is a bit of a thing. So I kind of am stuck here just using Solar Beam, and it doesn't really go so well. And if I do too much damage and they get put into that weird zone where they can heal, that's going to cause me some problems. And eventually, you know, spoiler alert, I win. I was really nervous here that they would use a potion, but I won. So there you go. I mean, I don't know. Crinkles was pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little disappointed in the time for this one. This was over 4 hours. You know, again, especially after my Hypno run, I was very excited about getting, you know, I'm trying to get under 3 hours here. The Glitchless Classic World Record is 1 hour and 50, I want to say 6 minutes. So it's barely under 2 hours. I think that with almost every Pokemon, I could get under 3 hours if I were good at this game. That's kind of my perspective. And my Hypno run, as you can see, if you look at the chart here, is still my best time. But Tangela, decent. The level, pretty decent. But the run was just scary. It was atrocious. It was tedious. 4 hours on the dot. I fucked it up. But anyway, it's not Tangela's fault. Oh, actually, you know what? It's all Tangela's fault. It's not my fault. Actually, I'm innocent. I did nothing wrong. But, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to slander the grass type too much. Tangela, while I love Tangela, it is a grass type, and grass types, you know, they could do a little bit better. But next time, I will be trying another grass type. And, you know, we'll see how it goes.